A lesson plan is a classroom management technique that refers to what will be learned, when will be learned, and how learning will take place throughout the variety and the meet objectives of the activities of class. A tool to planning is a scheme of work. A scheme of work have the dates, the classes, and the objectives organized on based on a syllabus.
Lesson planning is a useful method to structure a course, and it is also helpful for the teacher to describe with details their guidance for the learning trajectory of the lesson that will be taught. Those details may vary depending on the preferences of the teacher. For example, a subject being covered, the objectives that are supposed to be reached, the specific learning needs, and a way to assess the students' learning process.
Do you know what is lesson planning?
Yeah, planning a lesson is to prepare a work for the class, taking into account the student's background. It involves activities related to the topics according to the guidance of the course.
To answer the question of what is a lesson plan, we can say that it is a teacher's detailed description of the learning trajectory for a lesson. This makes the process of learning and teacher easy for both teachers and students. It also allows us as a teacher to remember important aspects. It lets us to know what we teach and when we teach it, and it includes the class size and the resources that
What does it mean to prepare content? It means that it's important to take into account several factors or items which are imperative at the time to develop a successful class. As teachers, we need to learn to think about what the students need to learn and how are we going to explain that. Preparing content is a very hard job, which includes thinking about what the students need to learn, how we as teachers are going to teach that, and through what.
What does it mean to prepare content?
When you're preparing content for language teaching, it is important to take into account the learner's background. What the student already know.
Okay.
It's also a strategy to develop the class and to understand the students and the activities they need to improve their learning process. This means that the categories or topics need to be pre-established and need a determined framework.
Oh, thank you.
So, what does it mean to prepare content? We can say that taking into account the perspective of language teaching, to prepare content has to do with including in the plan a non-language content, which people can interact with the language in different contexts. So the language can be used in different subjects within the school. Also, the plan may include the cultural component to the extent necessary to the non-language content.
Creating content has to do with the structure and the direction given to a class depending on the specific purposes of learning. It refers to the process of selecting topics and activities in order to help the students to develop their skills and to acquire new knowledge. Also, through well-prepared content, the students should be able to create tools and strategies that help them to do their tasks. Creating content may be even perceived as a way to develop competences through the use of information that results meaningful and related, but that also takes into account the needs and the requirements of the classroom.
What makes a lesson plan successful? A successful lesson plan is composed by different aspects in the planning of it. So, an efficient lesson plan may be structured in different units which contain new knowledge and a theoretical and practical component. In this way, the lesson includes the goals that the student will achieve and the progress that they have in the development of each class. Also, it is important that the lesson plan consider the unplanned things that can make a risk in class.
Camila, do you know what makes a lesson plan successful?
Yeah, an effective plan involves considering the routine activities that will be part in a class from the beginning to the end. Planning also involves being ready for the things that might come up. Planning involves a flexible draft of the activities that the teacher needs to do in class.
According to Marzano and Brown, what makes a lesson plan successful is, first, you have to focus on new knowledge. Second, lessons that focus on practicing and to go deep into the knowledge. The third, that focus on tasks involving generating and testing hypotheses. Fourth, the teacher has to review the goals of learning and teaching of his students. And the last one, you have to create a flexible draft of daily activities so the students can apply for the activity. When planning for lessons involving critical input experiences, and you can use lecture materials the students can read, physical demonstrations, video presentation, and field trips.
To make a lesson plan, it is necessary to know the social context of the educational institution, student motivation and learning purposes. Planning activities is necessary. First, clearly communicate learning goals. Second, track the progress of students. Third, recognize the social context of students. Fourth, establish simple rules and learning procedures. 5. Recognize student participation. 6. Appropriate social relationships. 7. Communicate high expectations. 8. Feedback in learning processes.
How can teachers plan to maximize group work interaction? According to Jaime Zakarian, the teachers can maximize group work interaction with cooperative learning. It consists in reducing the authority in the classroom and giving more autonomy to the students in the moment to develop an activity, having as a purpose that the students collaborate effectively with the partners and the teacher just make his/her interventions when the students require his help.
According to Heinz and Zakarian, cooperative work is useful to the learning of students. It is important for the lesson planning the characteristic of every student because it helps the teacher to understand which role is appropriate to each person. Inside the group, every must have a role that provides to the group work. It is also important when working with ELL students, the group have a linguistic balance in order to the students with higher levels of English proficiency help students with low levels.
What makes a lesson plan successful? The uniform and students should occur three types of lessons. Lessons that focus on new knowledge, lessons that focus on practicing and thinking, lessons that focus on tasks involving training, testing hypotheses. An effective planning involves considering the daily activities you will design to work with, reviewing learning goals, keep looking at students' progress, being aware of rules and procedure to modify if it is necessary. You need to be ready for whatever could happen in each lessons, always trying to accomplish an appropriate realization of the lesson plan by the students, attending to teacher mistakes.
Hey Santiago, how can teachers plan to maximize group work interaction?
Oh well, they can generate roles for small groups to work in determined activities. By doing this, each student has something to share with the group, like his ideas, plans, difficulties, or the solutions. This is a cooperative learning style.
Thank you.
Teachers can do a plan to maximize group work interaction. Teachers can do a plan to maximize group interaction through the assign of roles to each member of small groups, because in this way, the teacher ensures that each member cooperates with the assigned tasks while interacting with the rest of the group. This means that the small contribution of each student will allow them to obtain a result, the whole task that was assigned.